Hello, Claire Hamilton.
Hello, Sara Cox.
I think I
It's
did a
so good
small
to see
burp
you.
there.
Oh,
Welcome to Teen Commandments. It's going to be a lot of bodily functions during this episode. Welcome to Teen Commandments, the show where we usually unpick the cray brains of our teenagers, but this episode is a special edition. Definitely a one-time only edition. It is the post Children in Need Great Northern Marathon Challenge Debrief edition. Hello, Claire.
hello. Boy, is it good to see you, babe. I'm gonna I'm gonna cry again. Can I just say, wow, honestly, I cannot believe what you just did. We were sat here so cocky, weren't we, the other week? Going, yeah, you'll have done the challenge, it'll be great.
I mean, I had no idea what was in store for me, clearly. You could see on my face, I just look in shock. So, just to update you, it is now the day of recording is now Tuesday. I finished my 5 marathons over 5 days on the Friday. So, Saturday, Sunday, it was 4 days ago. As of now, the challenge has raised £10 million for BBC Children in Need
Incredible.
from the fantastic Radio 2 listeners and Children in Need supporters. So that is excellent. And the documentary will still be on the BBC iPlayer that was made of the challenge. I've not yet seen it. By the time this goes out, I will have seen it and I may be in hiding.
I've just had to tell you to put some makeup on, haven't I, babe? You are just so
I'm so
broken.
wrecked. I'm so wrecked. So I sat down in front of the camera and Claire is up in Manchester and I had on a bobble hat and not a scrap of makeup. And I was like, do I need to put some makeup on? You were like, yes, you do. I was like, okay.
Yes.
So a little spritz of dry shampoo. I just couldn't be asked to do my hair, so I put a hat on. But here we are. Lovely listeners. It's been quite a mad week, hasn't it? And you've been seeing it from the other side, bestie of mine.
I never, ever, ever want to go through that again. Don't ever, ever agree to doing anything like that again. That was horrific for me. Never mind you.
I think it was really hard for everybody who loves me. They're like, what the hell is happening to her? So to give it some context on they basically, it was the challenge was to run 135 miles, starting off on the Monday in Kielder Forest and finishing in Pudsey to get Pudsey, the little backpack bear that I had on my back the whole week, to get him to Pudsey over the course of 5 days, which involved my longest day was the Thursday, which was like 30 miles, covering 30 miles. And I think I really underestimated just how tough it was going to be. And it was just so surreal. But I don't think you can ever really know how tough something like that is going to be in reality. I
Yeah.
mean,
Yeah.
I thought, oh, I'll do it. Definitely going to be achy. I'll get home on the early hours of Saturday morning from Manchester. And I thought, well, I'll probably walk the dogs on Saturday and Sunday. Just might go and ride on Monday. Are you joking? Can barely move. I am so hobbly. And so each day they brought a little surprise, and it was the Monday, wasn't it, when you turned up? That
Yes.
was brilliant. That was definitely no surprise, really. That was my brightest day, and
Yeah.
it was amazing to see you. So you might have seen it on socials that maybe I was about halfway through, or maybe I was 3/4 of the way through the day, and I sit down in a little country pub in the middle of nowhere, and they say there's a bit of a surprise for me. And for some reason, I'd convinced myself because I'd mentioned that for my not 50th, for my 49th birthday thing, I'd had that Dolly Parton impressionist, the Dolly Show, who's amazing. And in the build up to the challenge, I'd sort of made, they said, oh, what do you love? Who do you like? What would you like? Any, suggestions of people who could send you messages and stuff. So I was like Daniel Craig. I was listing all these people. And then I'd mentioned the Dolly Show. And so for some reason, on the Monday when they were like, There's a little surprise, but just relax and chat to Trevor. Don't worry, it's nothing bad." Because they know what I'm like. My producer knows that I hate proper surprises and not being in control. So sure enough, I start chatting to Trevor, and because I am quite tired, I forget that there's going to be a surprise anyway. So he goes to me, "Who's here? Who's like, who can you see in the pub?" So I'm like, "Oh, there's the children in need people and the Radio 2 people." And then I look up and there you are.
Yay! So we had a conversation, didn't we, before the challenge, and you said to me, "Babe, try and come up on the Thursday if you can, because that's when I'll be in pain." And I was trying to get this through when I was talking to the people at the BBC, like, "Look, I've spoken to Sarah, and I think Thursday'd be a really good idea." And they were like, "No, you're coming on the Monday," which was great. I was like, "Okay, then you're going to bookend it. You're going to be there on the Monday and there on the Friday. Fine." And I'll get back to watching you on the Thursday in a second because that was horrific. I'm quite glad I didn't see you at that point. I was in full protection mode, and a lot of people were like, I need this to stop. This just has to stop." And I know that you would have been different and so determined, but then they tried to hide me in the toilet, and I was like, "No, she's gonna want to go straight to the toilet as soon as she gets in the pub. So that would be awkward. Like, why are you in here? What are you doing?"
It was so amazing. So I do go for a wee, which obviously I just
Yeah.
need to wee all the time.
Yeah.
And I go for a wee, and then when I look at what was funny was I'd forgotten there was going to be a surprise, but obviously it's quite funny that when they'd initially said there might be a little surprise, I imagine like a little Dolly impersonator, like, "Hey y'all," and come singing out like, "Tumble out of bed and I run to the kitchen, pour myself a cup of ambition," and I was like, and what I got instead was you, but with so many layers on, you just came running around the corner. Why did they put all the why did they put that big dry robe on you? You must have been boiling.
They said you were gonna dress you as Crew, so you're just gonna blend in and she won't really recognise you, but they dressed me as Crew with a hat with a torch on, and then stood me in the back room for about 15 minutes. I was roasting.
Because you already had a hoodie on. You had a hoodie on and then a big dry robe on and a woolly hat. I was like, Jesus. Because it was brilliant because whenever you turn up in London, 'cause it's always warmer in London, first
Yeah.
thing I say to you is like, "Oh, I'm not looking at you. Why have you got that hoodie on? Come
Yeah.
on. What you doing?" And you were just there with all but I mean, it was amazing to see you. And that was like that
That
was
was
the
day
Monday.
one.
So yeah.
That was I
I
mean,
mean the Thursday you
yeah.
might have wanted to like bundle me in a van
I
and
definitely did. Do you know what? It really seriously crossed my mind. I was like, "Can I just drive and pull up next to her in my little Mini and say,
oh
'Come
my
on,
God.
we'll just run, they'll never catch us,'" you know? And on the Monday, we were actually really quite giddy, weren't we? You can see it.
Yeah.
You're just like, "Woohoo, yay," and I'm like, "You all right?" And that was that was nothing. I mean,
Yeah, so we then had to I said, "Oh, come and run with me for a little bit." And there
yeah,
was people at the side of the road and the weather was all right on the Monday still. So the weather just to give, when we'd set off from Kielder Forest, it was chilly, but it was blue skies and it was bright and the sun was out and it was
yeah.
incredible scenery. And then, the rain sort of started on the Monday evening and didn't stop that much really for the rest of the week. It was mainly rain, getting worse and worse as the week went on. But yeah, we skipped out of that pub and I'm like, "Run for a bit." And then we were like arm in arm and I'm
Dead good
like,
spirits.
there's people at the side of the road and I'm going, "It's my best friend. They brought me best friend for me." People like, "Right, okay," and just waving. So it was all fun and good times on the Monday. And Monday
Yeah.
evening, I mean, they're incredible, these challenges. There's this company called Behind the Scenes, and they are the ones who work out the route and organize security and all the cars. Because it's like a caravan of like 8 cars, including
Mm.
like a motorhome and filming cars because they're making the documentary. So it's a great big hullabaloo with just me in the middle running along in a little knock-kneed style. So it was an incredible week, and it was such a highlight having you coming along on the Monday was just brilliant. And
Yeah.
Monday evening, like, I didn't feel too bad. I got like Nick the physio came to my room and just kind of helped, like, just did like a little treatment on my legs. I had a cold bath because that's been a thing where you get into a cold bath, which actually feels amazing.
Right. And then what
to
were you doing? So you got your cold bath, you get out. Are you in a bit of pain at this point? Are you like, oh, are you speaking to family? How'd you go to sleep? What were you doing?
So on the Monday night, once you've gone over the finish line, I mean, the first night I go over the finish line and I sort of dedicate that day and crossing the finish line to obviously all children who've needed help from children in need,
Yeah.
and to all kids who've ever been bullied for the way they run or the way they walk, because
Yeah.
I was.
Yeah.
And I mentioned my big brother who died in 2019 because he was an Ironman runner, like a triathlete. It was like amazing, our David.
Yeah.
So I do this kind of speech, but that's the first and the last of them because for the rest of the week, I'm just like, I'm all over the place. First night, I'm so like together.
Yeah.
And then you get bundled into the motorhome, and you've obviously got to start off from where you finished. The
Right.
next morning, you've got to start off. So you just go to the nearest hotel that they've sorted out, which are quite basic, simple,
Yeah.
little, nice enough places. Uh, before we left, I was like messaging my producer going, "Do I need me goggles? Because if any of the hotels got pools."
That's so typical.
Like I'm going to be in the Four Seasons or something. They were like, "No." There was one place
As
that
if
was
you're gonna be
basic.
able to swim as well.
I know. I don't know what I was thinking. Oh, a swim could be nice as a stretch, because I've just run a marathon. I might want to then go and do more exercise and have a swim. What an idiot. My God. Unbelievable. So you jump in the motorhome. The motorhome was driven by a bloke called Pete, who I just absolutely loved. There's just people who have the calmest vibe,
Yeah.
who are just that's his USP is just calm and
Right.
kind. He was like 6'6" with a shaved bald head and he looked a bit like he looked a bit like the son of the BFG, but in a really nice way.
Ah, yeah.
He was so lovely. So I'd get in the little motorhome and then get driven, whatever it was, 5 or 10 minutes or just a couple of minutes to where our bed was for the night. And then, yeah, we'll just, grab some food, get a treatment, cold bath treatment, get into bed. And then, but obviously, normally after you run a marathon, you'd be like, right, that's good. I'm going to rest for a couple of days, but then just to get up the next day and do it again. And I'm not a runner. I can't actually believe.
I
I mean, I
can.
don't think if I'd have been able to know how hard it was, I don't know what I knew it was going to be really, really hard. And I knew I was going to be knackered and I knew I was going to be sore, but I wasn't, I had no idea that it was just the pain
Yeah.
as the week went on. I've never known anything like it.
So when you're starting out in the day, and I guess this gets worse, you're in pain, you're thinking, "I can't start." What have you got to do? Run through it at the beginning to get it gone?
You're starting off in already a tired state and
Yeah.
already your body's a bit like, what the hell are you doing? It's already a little bit sore. And because you've slept overnight and you've stayed still, you're then really creaky the next day. And that is still happening now. So in the
Right.
recovery bit now, like I'm in like this weird purgatory where I'm knackered like I've had flu, and when you make a brew
Yeah.
and then you're just completely wiped out.
Yeah.
So to sit down or to lie down is amazing, but I seize up right away. Like I get so stiff, like in my knees and hips, and then I stand up and I can barely stand and I'm hobbling around. So moving
Wow.
about, gently hobbling around is good for me, but it's knackering. But if I stop doing that, then I seize up. So I'm just like, "Rah."
Oh my
But on the
God.
morning of setting off for the next morning, you're just like, there's lots of lovely people that, I mean, you've got, the bad thing is I just didn't have any choice. There was no way I was stopping.
Yeah.
And not at one
Yeah.
point did I think I was stopping. And I wasn't stopping because I wasn't going to let everybody down. I
Yeah.
wasn't going to not complete this challenge because obviously I wanted to raise loads of money for children in need. But obviously, as well, on top of that, it's pride.
Yeah.
I'm just bloody stubborn.
Yeah.
And I'm like, there's no way I'm not doing it because, national humiliation that you throw the towel in. I'm not doing that. And
Well, I knew if
also,
I kidnapped you, you'd have to be kicking and screaming, get you in boot and car.
yeah,
I knew you'd be like
it'd have to be like Mr. T in the A-Team where we won't get into a helicopter.
Yeah.
You'd have to knock me out.
Did they ask
There
you if
was
you
one
wanted to
time
stop?
where, yeah, they did. They did once on the Thursday, and that was the final little leg that was a couple of miles. But they probably
Right.
would have had to add it on the next day
Right.
anyway for it to be completed.
What did you say?
So also, I wasn't ever going to stop because they would have got a man to complete it because I think it was either Vernon or Paddy were on standby. And I'm like, there's no fucking way. I mean, I love them both, but there is no way on this earth
Mhm.
I am giving up to let a man come
Good
in
for
and
you.
finish a woman's job. I was
Yeah.
like, no.
Yeah.
So on the Thursday, the longest day of 30 miles, when I'd done about 27 or whatever, there was a couple of miles left. And Laura from Radio 2, she knew I was really struggling. I'll tell you why in a minute, because remind me of the chanting. It's all going to be on
Okay.
the documentary. I think,
Okay.
oh my God. And she came into the little motorhome and she sort of went, do you want to stop? Like, do you not want to do these last 2 miles today?
Okay.
And I was just like, no, not stopping. Like, don't be ridiculous. Like, no way.
When someone mentioned it on the finish line, someone offered her to stop last night, and I knew what the ending of the story was. I was like, "There's no way she'd have stopped. She would not have
Yeah, I
stopped."
was like, no, no way.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so Tuesday was tough
Yeah.
because it was like, oh, here I am. Someone who's never run half a marathon before, someone who doesn't really like running. The most I've ever run has been 5 or 6 miles before I
Yeah.
got asked to do this challenge because my right knee always hurt. When I got to about 5, 6 miles, if I'd run with the dog or whatever around Hampstead Heath and that, this was a
Yeah.
few years ago, and I'd be like, oh no, running's obviously not for me. And then I was like, oh, okay, get up Tuesday, got to run a marathon again. But they'd split it into you'd be doing 10K and then would be stopping for 20 minutes or so. They'd just be trying to get food into you.
Right.
You just feel sick. You're adrenalized. You don't want to eat anything. You think they're like, you can have anything you want on this week, like food. We just need to get food in you. But it's like, you just don't want it because your body's just in this weird mode and so there was one bit, I can't remember what day it was. The week is really quite blur melting into each day. I was just they gave me a bit of pork pie because they just want to get fat and protein, anything into your carb, anything. And I couldn't eat the pastry. I couldn't eat, so I was peeling off the pastry of this pork pie and just eating bits of the pork, just like an animal.
Anything.
Like,
Well, and what about the crumpets? Let's just have a minute for the crumpets.
the crumpets became like a national obsession. Now, the funny thing is, when I'm doing this whole thing, I was in a bubble. Like, I'm not really, I mean, bless Megan, our really good mate Megan, who's
Yeah.
been one of my bezies who turned up on the Friday, wasn't it, with the
Yeah.
5 Go French, we call them. So there's Megan, Anna, Emily, Els, and me, and we were the 5 who'd go to France. This was a few years ago.
Yeah.
You were always Queen Bee, and you know
I know
that
this.
anyway.
I know. I'm fine.
These are like my London bezies. Like, I met all your bezies. Well, I
Yeah.
didn't meet him. I saw him again. I've not seen him for ages. So I bloody love at your party. So you've got your North bezies. I've got my London bezies. And bless Megan, who I've known for 20 odd years, who's been a best mate for years and years. She used to be at Radio 1, that's where I knew her from, and then she set up her own PR company. So the best thing is, the person who does my PR is one of my bezies.
Yeah.
So the trust there obviously is off the scale. So she just took over my socials for me because I was like, oh, I'll still be on there, but I probably won't do much. Like, would you be able to post and stuff? I think I took 3 photos the whole week. I didn't listen to any Radio 2, apart
Okay.
from when they put me on the mic. I didn't look at any socials or anything. So I had
Right.
no idea that Crumpet Gate was kicking off. They stopped me one day and they went, there's a message. And because I was so off my head and in so much pain, they did actually go, it's Prince William. because I think they
Right.
thought I'd be like, "Who's that?" Like, "Oh,
What?
no," 'cause
Run.
I was and it was a recorded, lovely recorded message from the
Aw.
future king, and, um, and he mentions, you know, "Hopefully you'll get some of your beloved crumpets." I was like,
So
"Oh."
when I saw you on the Tuesday in the pub, she brought over the lovely lady that brought over some crumpets, and you were like, "Do you want to tell her how to do them properly?" You need to
I
tell
mean,
her. You are very fussy with your
I
crumpets.
they need to be they can't you can't have a floppy crumpet. I'm like, "Am I not doing enough here? I'm running 5 marathons in 5 days. Can I just not have a floppy crumpet?"
I like,
There
you
is
know,
nothing worse. I
she's
felt
very
so
fussy.
like, "Can you just take them away? I'm already finding it hard to eat, and they bring me a floppy crumpet." I'm like, "Oh my god." There were so many, like, so many messages of
Yeah,
from lovely people, but I was in so much pain by the so Tuesday night, we stay in a very basic hotel. The food was lovely. You know, it's in the middle of nowhere. Probably walkers go there, and it's just a
okay.
bed for the night, you know, for that, and it's absolutely fine. You know, and lovely, lovely people. So I'm not being mean about it, but it was it was a bit like a prefab, the bedroom. Do you know what I mean? Like sort of built. It was like it was just like it was a bit like a shed, but not a
Okay,
shed.
a nice shed.
The bedrooms were like, you know, really simple, thin-walled little things, and it
Right,
was freezing when I got in there. And
right.
when you've stopped running, you've been running all day, and when it's rainy and wet and horrible, you're freezing when you
Yeah,
stop because your body temperature's like, "Rah." So I whacked up the heat in this room, and then I went to bed, didn't turn down the heating. So I woke up really hot, and I didn't this was the first thing that I did. So Tuesday night into Wednesday, I didn't sleep, and
yeah.
I didn't wanna wake other people up,
Mm.
and I didn't know what to do, and my brain was frazzled because, like, I'd run 2 marathons, and I was like,
Oh,
"Fucked." And I didn't have any food in my room, and I knew I was hungry because it sometimes happens at home where I'm
yeah,
hungry in the middle of the night and I'm anxious, and I'll just have a bit of food and I'll be fine.
yeah,
And I had, like, 1.5 of these custard creams, but I thought, "Is the sugar then gonna wake me up?" You know, when you're just so
yeah.
desperate to sleep, and I was trying to not panic, and I literally I sprang wide awake at midnight. I'd got to bed at, like, 10:30, you know, 10:30, 11, wide awake at 12:30 and listened to audiobooks. Couldn't get on the Wi-Fi, the free Wi-Fi had stopped, and was awake till
Oh,
it was about 3:30, 4:15, and then my alarm went off at 5, and I was like, "I've got to run a fucking marathon,
oh,
a
shit.
3rd marathon. I've not had any sleep." And
No.
that's when I, like, cried on the phone to Scott on the radio in the morning because I was just like, "How the hell I've broken myself. How the hell am I gonna do this?" Genuinely didn't know how I was gonna do it. It was
Well,
completely mad, but
you can't function on no sleep. I've seen you a million times where even when we've got
I know. You see me when you're down here for the
Yeah,
pod.
I mean, there are tears, we've just got pods to record and stuff, and we've got to use your
Yeah.
brain, so that's like, this is massive. You can't. And that's
Oh,
when
it
it
was
started to hit home for a lot of people, I think, as well, because everyone was just feeling it. People were messaging my inbox seeing if you'd slept. Like, I don't know, I can't ring her. She's running.
Yeah, the night like, so the next night I did sleep, and on breakfast, Scott was saying, "The nation has been
Yeah,
texting in."
yeah,
But I only
literally.
slept because I had to have some milk and some Weetabix in my room, and I'm still doing it now. I'm waking up at 2:30, 3, I'm burning through
Right,
so much energy. My body's like, "We still need energy," and I'm eating
right.
cereal now at 2 or 3 in the morning. Did it last night as well
That's what it is
because,
then.
so you're burning through so much energy that your
Right.
body's just trying to work it all out and still needs fuel. But I tell you what, the Wednesday was really tough. I started off and I'm aching and it's hurting, and each side of my knee feels like someone's hammered a bolt through
Yeah,
it.
you said that to me.
My calf on my left is killing, my hip on my right. I'm just in pain, and I'm like, but I've got no choice. But the nice thing was, we got to this mad transport place, and there was loads of tractors there giving me a guard of honor. I mean, by this point, I feel like I'm tripping. It's like someone's
Yeah.
put something in my tea.
You're just like, "What's going on? I wanna go
It's like
home."
there's like 30 tractors all with their booms lifted up and their buckets up
Oh,
and that.
really?
And I'm
Oh, that's
like,
amazing.
And then out of one of the tractors as a surprise jumps Gethin.
Yes, that's
Uh,
right.
and he was amazing. And he runs with me for the next leg, which was like another 10K or whatever, 7 miles or whatever.
Wow.
And I put my music on and I go to him, mate, I can't talk to you. I've got
Yeah.
to listen to my tunes. I've got to grind out these miles. I'm like, but will you talk to the people and explain? And he
Ah,
was fucking brilliant.
brilliant.
Because he's a proper mate, he just got
Yeah.
it. And so he fell into pace with me. So we matched our run. And as we're going along, I could half hear him going, she's just got her tunes on. Thanks for coming out. I love your little dog
Oh,
there. Great effort. What a great sign. Like, he was amazing and just stuck by my side, and I will love him forever for that.
that's
And
fantastic.
what was quite funny, there was a little school there, loads of infants kids, when he jumped out and surprised me from this tractor. And all the teachers and the mums that were there were like, oh, they were all like,
It's getting.
they were all looming closer for Gethin. I'm like, all right, ladies, back off, back off. So he got, I would have completed Wednesday, but it would have been a lot later. I reckon he knocked a good 45 minutes off the hell. Thursday was hard because it was the longest day, and it was just, and I started off with Jude from the One Show, who's got spina bifida, who's
Yeah.
part of their challenge squad, who I love. But we did a couple of miles in the morning, and that was just walking, which was really painful to walk. But obviously, it was amazing to be with him, and
Yeah.
it was just awesome to be with him. I love him to bits.
Yeah.
And then but then I had to just grind out mile after mile after mile, and it was just really emotional. I heard some of the packages that they play out about kids coping with bereavement, and and it reminds you, of course, that that's why you're doing it. And in a way, you've got to break a little bit, because I know I'm really honest. I'm really honest on this pod, and I'm really honest on air on the radio, but I don't know if you noticed the first couple of times when I got upset, I was doing a lot of
Yeah.
this
Yeah. Yeah. I
because I don't
noticed.
want to.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not the sort to be like blubbing and stuff in
Yeah.
front of people. I'm quite, you know what I mean. But by the end, I didn't care. And so this documentary, oh my
I
god.
was thinking that. Oh, mask is slipping.
I mean,
But
oh
I
my
mean, my
god.
God, who can blame you? It would be weird if you didn't get a bit, to the
I
point where
mean,
you just can't go.
oh, I mean, I have never known, it was so hilly. It was the
Yeah,
hills that did me. If it had
yeah,
been, I was like, we should have done it in the Netherlands. I mean, sure, nobody knows who I am in Holland, but at least it's flat there. I could be running past fields of tulips.
yes,
It was so hilly.
yeah,
So the pressure on your shins and on your knee, uphill's not, uphill's
yeah.
annoying.
It's
I
going
just marched
down.
up to Wu-Tang Clan. I just had to put on gravel pit, back and forth, back, and I just marched uphill, going down. I had to go down backwards, holding on to people. It was just,
Oh,
I have never known pain like it, honestly. And I didn't realize when we'd stopped for physio on the Thursday and Friday, the medic kept coming over, Ian, and him and the physio kept just touching my ankles and feeling round there and giving little nods to each other. And it was only afterwards that they were checking for sort of like fractures, like
wow.
slight, to check that I wasn't actually breaking my bones, and they would have had to stop it there if they'd have found those. It was like little hairline fractures and things, I think they're called. They
Oh
were
my
checking that it
God.
wasn't that, but it wasn't. It was just shin splints, like all the muscles around my shins.
Tell me about the chanting.
I mean, I don't think you should watch this documentary, I think you'll hate it. I think I'll hate it. I'm really nervous about
I
watching it.
hated last week. I hated it. I
Yeah, I bet.
really hated it.
So were people asking you stuff and you were
Oh,
just like,
you know what? There's been so much. There's been the inspiration for people, like you mentioned earlier about your knees. So many people are messaging in going, I don't go for a run normally, or don't go for a walk because I have a little niggle of something in my right knee. And looking at Sarah, I'm out, I'm doing it. So there was all this emotion going on that everyone was just inspired. It was just so good. But then it was also just watching you in pain and suffering. That
And
was
so
so
how
difficult.
could you see me? Was it just on
On
socials?
socials, yeah, it wasn't I was avoiding opening up Instagram at one point. I did so many paces round my breakfast bar at one point 'cause I
And
opened it up and you were
it's big, that
crying.
breakfast
I
bar as
know.
well.
I was
I saw
like
I when I came up for your birthday, I saw all the stools that we were laughing about that time.
big
You
collection.
weren't exaggerating. You've got so many stools around that because what did you do? You ordered them, they didn't come, so
They
they
didn't
sent
arrive.
replacements and the
Yeah,
originals.
and I've just kept them all for these
It's
major
like
social gatherings that I don't have.
it's like Cheers with like making your way in the world today takes everything you got. So funny. All them
Yeah.
stools.
But then there was a lot of
Yeah.
people saying, "This is not, I can feel it. I can feel it with her. And how are you doing? I'm not okay." And so many listeners of the Teen Commandments as well saying, "I feel
Oh my
like we are your besties as well." We have had so
god.
many people saying, "It's
That's
like
so
she's my
nice.
best mate as well." I'm like, "She is, she is. I've got an
Oh
army.
my god.
We'll
So
go
what
for her."
night was it? Was it Wednesday or Thursday night? Oh god, it's all those nights were a bit of a blur. I was getting like bundled from like the finish line, which was amazing. I've said it lots on the
Yeah.
radio, but thank you to everyone who came out. It was amazing because the weather was shit.
Yeah.
It was icy sideways rain. It was so rainy and so
And
cold and
people were
windy.
out
I
in
was like,
that, weren't
oh my
they?
God. People were out in that filthy weather. So thank you so much. Um, and at the finish line, there's like thousands of people, and it was
Yeah.
amazing. And I felt great at the finish. I was so relieved that I wasn't dead and that people were there. I was like, thank Christ, it's done. I get to know rest and then do it again tomorrow. But there was this young woman. She looked really young. She looked like in her mid-20s. And it was sweet because she obviously didn't want to shout it because it'd be inappropriate. But as I'm making my way through, going, thanks, thanks, and they're sort of bundling me away in a dry robe to go and get treatment and warm. And she just sort of pulled me to her a bit and was like, bring back fingering. I was like, yes,
There's been so
yes.
much of that. You even had a sign made that was the children in need spot with bring back fingerings, and they were like, "Should we wave this?" I was like, "No." No.
Well, there was when we got back, I'd had loads of cards given to me and all sorts of stuff. And I don't know if it was Ben or one of the kids or whatever, but they'd been half open and like the cards had been taken out. And, because there was all packets of sweets and little gifts. And one of the cards says, bring back fingering inside it. So look, I don't know what that means. Something, no
I think a
idea.
lady pulled up in a car near you when you were running, and she wound down a window and shouted it, and you didn't really you didn't really register. She said she just looked like a mad woman shouting out of a window, "Bring back fingering."
Oh my God. I was just
Created
so
a
funny.
movement.
And then the whole thing with Trevor with the women of a certain age thing,
Oh,
like starting a mini movement with that, which actually
yeah,
was good. But then I didn't know about how you're in such a bubble of pain.
yeah,
All you're thinking about is how long to the next stop. And
yeah,
when you walk, it hurts. So when you have to stop to talk to the radio, there was loads of bits where I was just like, really, I have to stop now and talk, like,
yeah,
and they did a whole thing where like my mum rang and it was connected to a village phone box, and they were
yeah.
like, "The phone's ringing," and that freaked me out. I
You're
was like,
like,
"What?"
"What
I was
now?"
so confused. I was like, "What?" And then there's my mum and my sister like, "Hello." I was like, "Oh my God." And then, so I don't know, yeah, and then I don't know how much they'll keep in of the pain stuff because there might be complaints. There might be like in the documentary, people might be like, "Why did you do that to a woman, to a
I
person?"
think a lot of people were doing that anyway. People were sort of messaging in and going, "This is brutal. Is it
I mean,
necessary?" No.
I mean, it was the hills that killed it
Yeah,
for me.
yeah,
And I did all the training I could do. It's not like I just winged it, but I don't think you can, unless you're a long distance runner and this is the sort of thing you do. I don't think you can
yeah.
prepare for something like that. And the chanting, so if they keep it, I don't know if they'll keep it in the documentary, but I was literally going, no pain, no pain, no pain, no pain, as I just trotted along in the dark and the rain in absolute agony. I was just trying the most basic way of like telling my brain that there wasn't pain there, trying to
Yeah,
trick it, and
yeah.
just was. And there's loads of me singing. I'm singing to
Oh God.
Beyonce. I know. Hey, we're gonna get a covers album out of this, me and you. Don't you
Honestly,
worry.
we're not.
I was
The poor
singing.
sound guy
I
must
was.
have been like, "What the
I know. He's called Ben. I loved him. He was a brummie. It's so funny. And occasionally I'll be like, "Are you getting all this, Ben?" And he was in the van in front, and I could see his little silhouette of his thumb come up that he could hear it all. But
When
you
he
know,
mics me
10
up on the
million.
Tuesday, you went, "Don't get us cancelled." Anyone
Yeah.
puts a mic on me, like, right, they're listening, they're recording.
Don't get us cancelled, babe.
Go on,
Um,
10,000,000
Look,
is
10 million,
insane.
amazing. 10 million and rising, so it's incredible.
It's
So,
incredible.
and you know, to everybody who chipped in a fiver,
Yeah,
you know, or a tenner, it's just going to really change and help children and young people. So it's brilliant. But
it's
I mean,
fantastic.
I'm just like,
You are broken.
I'm just absolutely, I'm absolutely broken by it. But I'm getting there. I'm back on air on Wednesday tomorrow.
Okay,
I'll show you a
okay.
couple of cute things.
Yeah, go on.
So at the side of the road, 3 separate occasions, 3 sort of girls had made me little bracelets,
Oh,
which I'll keep
really?
forever, which is cute. Those little loom bands.
Loom
When your own kids
bands.
have got them, you
Yeah,
fucking hate them. But
yeah.
when you've had a break from them for a while,
That's
you're like,
so
"Ah, they're so
cute.
cute."
That's
And
amazing.
I got given this on one of the nights when I stopped. These 2 little girls were pushed forward at the finish line, and I was never in the brownies, but look, I got my brownie badges,
Oh, that's fantastic. Well
which
deserved.
I'll keep forever, from Girl Guiding Barnard Castle Division. And it's so cute. They're like Trailblazer, Fitness, Wayfinder. And then there's a badge that says, Girls can do anything.
Yes, they
And it's just so
can. They
cute.
absolutely can. And I keep saying this. People are saying it's Northern Grit what's got to go in. It's not. I don't. It is, but it's also. I mean, you push any woman back against the wall, and she's gonna come
Yeah.
out like that. And that's exactly what you proved there. It's just like it's
Yeah,
not.
I
It's
think you're right. I was
female
just
power.
stubborn. It was
Love
stubbornness.
that.
I'm not fucking giving up. And this as well. This was from a woman called
Oh,
Maxine, whose son Austin has got Duchenne muscular dystrophy, and he's
right.
12, and his muscles are slowly wasting away,
Oh
and
my
he's going to
god.
end up in a wheelchair soon. And I think it is a life-limiting disease. And I really met her. I met her, and we really clicked. And she
Positive
gave me this
mood.
little positive moo, and she
Keep
was a
moving
really
forward.
awesome
Oh,
woman.
that's
And like, you meet
amazing.
people like that, and you're just like, you know, you're just like, fuck, how do they get up and put one foot in front of the other every day, living
Yeah,
with a
yeah,
child with a life limiting disease? But they just have to. They've got
yeah,
no choice. So I think, as well as being a stubborn moo and just you know, a 50-year-old woman who doesn't want a man to take over,
yeah.
I think also it was just thinking, you know, I'm so lucky,
Massively
lucky
in
to, you
perspective. You
know,
did a good job of that when you
yeah,
said that it was short-term pain. I was
yeah,
just like,
yeah.
wow. She always always manages to come through with something amazing. And you did that there. You know, you were just like,
Yeah,
it's not long
yeah,
term.
it's true. It's true. Well, I hope not.
Incredible.
We'll
Well,
report back next episode.
I'm gonna have to push you around.
I'm gonna get like a big wicker chair with big pram wheels on, and you can parade me around and look after me.
Let's just address
Um,
one more thing as well before we go.
uh-oh.
What's
We've
all
not
this?
got time. What is
People
it?
are
No.
messaging in going, I think she should be Dame Sara Cox. I'm like, you what?
I
I'm not
like how everyone.
curtsying for her. What the fuck does this mean?
You'd hate that, wouldn't you?
Yeah, you'd be doing it every time we checked in somewhere. I'd be like, oh, I'm going bar. You'd be like, yes, this is Miss Clare Hamilton. Dame
You'd be
Sara
my
Cox.
lady in waiting. You'd have been my lady in
That's how
waiting. It'd
you'd
be
introduce
brilliant.
me.
It'd be
You'd
incredible.
milk it forevermore. Claire, do a
I'd
brew.
love it.
I'm the
Oh
Dame.
my God, I'd love it.
No,
Oh,
I
and
just keep
before we go as
replying,
well,
no.
we've got to talk just really briefly before I let you go, but the old the thing when we went to the main show on the Friday night,
Yeah.
the one at Salford and that with and it's the big glitzy show, and there was discussion about you coming on stage. And it would have been so weird. I think it was some confusion. I was like, baby, you know when I go on and collect the massive check like they
Yeah.
used to have in the 80s?
Would have
And it was like, is Claire going to be on stage? I'm like, I don't know. I don't think so. It'd be so weird.
What is she doing there? I said to you at the actual finish line, I said, do you need me? Do you want me on the stage? And you were going, yeah, what do you mean? I was like, you want me
I
there?
was so
Because you told me I'm there. And then you rang and went, babe, we don't need to do that.
I was like, get on the couch with a big glass of wine and watch it there, because that's where I'd love to be.
You
right
didn't have
now.
to tell me that twice, babe.
No, you were like, okay, fine. There's this image of you, or you just coming out with me like who's that woman with her?
Is that her wife? What's going on?
Oh, it's so funny. Oh my God. Well,
oh, babe, I'm
it is-
so proud of you. Honestly, everybody is. I feel like we've collected a whole new crew of best mates as well. It's fantastic. Hey,
Oh,
I've been
I
asked out
hope
for a
so.
load of drinks and stuff as well. I'm going on them. I'm going on all
by
these.
boys.
No, just new bestie
Oh.
crews. No boys. And I have had my inbox has gone a little bit nuts, but it's all men.
Oh.
The
It's enough about
profile
your inbox.
pictures. My actual inbox, not my actual inbox. My other inbox.
That's the only bit of me
Oh,
that's
stop
not
this
aching.
now.
Hopefully it
Oh,
will be
really?
once I'm fit again.
Well, yeah. You just need to be careful for now. Very
Ooh,
fragile.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah, none of that.
So what? There's boys with what? Some men getting in touch with the profile pictures.
Yeah, but the profile pictures are just cars. I'm a bit like, okay.
Oh, no.
Just
They've got
typical.
something to hide there, haven't they? They're putting a picture of a
Yeah.
Datsun Cherry.
Yeah.
Oh, I love you.
I
I
love
knew
you.
this would be, we weren't ever going to not do an episode, but I was just so done in. But actually, this has done me loads of good to see your lovely
Yeah.
face and to have a laugh.
Yeah. And it's just, I can't wait to give you a big squeeze. Honestly,
I
just,
know.
and when everything's calmed down as well, it'd just be nice to just have a little glass of wine and a little.
Oh, we need a little celebration.
Yeah.
I was trying to see if I could get. I don't think it'll look that bad anymore now.
Oh yeah.
It doesn't look
What is
great,
it?
does it? It looks like a loin of pork, doesn't it? I'm just putting a roast on, tie some string around that.
Crikey, that does
Ugh.
look. It does look swollen. Is it tender to touch?
Yeah, look.
Yeah, that does look pretty bad, babe. Your ankle.
That's like a third of the size of it was. It was horrible. It was
Really?
like a big balloon full of melting lard the other day. That's what it reminded me of.
Oh,
sorry. Should we go now before I start unveiling other bits of me? I love you so much.
I love you, babe. Honestly,
And we love
honestly,
you, lovely
brilliant.
listeners. We'll get back to
Yes.
Teen Chat.
Yeah.
Teen Chat next time for sure. But we thought it'd just be nice to have a catch up and fill you in on behind the scenes. There's other stuff going on, but we'll talk about it another time. Just very quickly, I did tell her this. Megan gave me 5 cards the Friday before the challenge.
Yes.
One to open each day. It was labelled Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. And on Sunday night before the challenge, I propped up the Monday one, like on the mirror in the hotel room. Like, that's nice. Monday morning, before I'd done any running, I opened the card and read it. And I'm like, lovely. And then I'm knackered, and Tuesday morning I just rummage in my suitcase, which was already really messy, and I pull out a card for Tuesday, and I open it, and it's like, only one more to go, you're amazing, you're nearly there. And I'd opened fucking Thursdays. I was like,
oh, fuck off.
Got 4 more to go, and it was like, tomorrow's the final day. I was like, no. And so I shoved it back, and I didn't open any others. I opened them once I got back to London, but she does know it. So Megan, it was a lovely thought, but I was like, it's too complicated. Fuck this.
Oh,
All right. Well, I
bless.
love you so much,
I
my
love you.
darling.
I love you. I'm so glad it's over. I'm so, so proud of you. And I did say that you are the strong. When I did my little DJ slot, did you hear my little, when I announced a record that time? And I said, you're the strongest person
Yeah.
I've ever met. And, you've just proven it. There you
Ah,
go.
thanks, sweetheart.
All
That's on
right.
BBC Sounds on Songs for Sarah, the pace setter.
Yes.
Yours is the best. You choose a great tune. That made me cry middle at
Oh, did
gym.
it?
I love you
I
millions.
love you.
All right, and I'll see you next time. And lovely listeners, thanks so much. As ever, we love to hear from you about anything to do with your lives, please. hello@teencommandments.co.uk. We will do an episode on Wednesday. We'll do a your turn because apparently we've got some great, well, Claire's been going on about her inbox. We'll see what's in there on Wednesday. Till then, stay gorgeous. Lots of love. Bye. Bye,
Bye.
Claire.
Bye, darling.